very, very much overdue to give you an update on what's happening here in my life and everything that's gone on with the bankruptcy and just pretty much everything. Our day today has been good. We get up and we're grateful to go to sleep. We sleep all together. It's crazy. There's 6 of us. I'll show you. And that's where my 2 girls sleep. There's where my 2 boys sleep. There's where Lisa and I sleep. And it's been real. We've been doing this now for well over a year. I think 14, 15 months or so. And I filed bankruptcy in July to try to get some relief from this $53 million lawsuit that they have against me. And not wanting to get too emotional about anything, just wanted to give you facts on what's happening. The bankruptcy court denied our bankruptcy. It was quite a process, but they ultimately granted St. Luke's motion to deny our bankruptcy. And I could go into details about that, but ultimately that's what's happened. However, the proceeding is still going on, and after the bankruptcy court, Judge Thurman denied the bankruptcy, which the legal term is deny the discharge. He actually granted St. Luke's motion to extend the time. And St. Luke says, well, we need time to basically document all the reasons why we want to stop the discharge. And I thought that was interesting. So they extended it to April, the middle of April. And so the proceeding is going on until the middle of April. And I do, before you go here, I've got some really crazy information about Meridian Police Department and some of the things that they said that is now becoming exposed. And but I'm going to cover this bankruptcy thing first. Again, they extended the time. When in the hearing, when I asked the court, I said, Judge Thurman, I said, why would you extend the time if the decision's already over? And he asked St. Luke's to respond to that. St. Luke said basically that they need to, look at all the estate, and ultimately that they are going to use the information that they're gathering to for collections. And the judge said, well, that's concerning. That was his words exactly. And that's what I thought too, that they're going to use basically this extra time they have to harass Lisa and I and everybody else to get as much information as they can. So now that the bankruptcy is over, they can start in other courts and other proceedings to try to basically ruin our lives continually. I will say this, that the docket in this case is hundreds and hundreds of items on it. It's pages and pages and pages long. It's just a bankruptcy proceeding, but it's hundreds of pages, hundreds of dockets in it. And thousands of pages have been filed, mostly by St. Luke's. And they've had 7 attorneys on file in this case against me. And of course, each one of those attorneys has a full, team, including the lead attorney, who's the partner at Holland and Hart, Eric Stidham. And he's been driving all of this for, reasons, political reasons, and others reasons that eventually will become uncovered. It'll take some time. And so Lisa and I have a deposition. They're deposing myself on the 25th of this month, and St. Luke's is. So we're going to be interrogated by St. Luke's. And then they're deposing my sweet wife on the 26th, the day after. And the lead attorney, Eric Stidham, has said that they need an entire day in order to depose me. And so that's very interesting. And I think, they're just trying to get as much information as they can so they can use it against us in whatever way they possibly can. That's all it's about. So when it comes to everything, they've already taken, my home. In 2024, they took 4 income revenues from me. Of course, they took my commercial properties and all the rental incomes. They took my shop and took all the income I had from there. And then I started another fleet maintenance business here. And they took that, or at least they seized all the bank accounts so that I couldn't benefit from that business. And it made it very difficult intentionally for us to not be able to make a living. And now, because the bankruptcy court has chosen not to discharge the debt, now St. Luke's will continue to hound us literally forever. Or at least unless I pay them, $53 million. So that is where it's at. Now, it's kind of grim, it seems bad, but I do believe, I still have great faith in the Lord. I still have faith in the promises that He gave me. I don't understand them because, I would think that they would be fulfilled by now, but eventually this will turn on St. Luke's. I believe that. And that it'll be completely turned upside down and exposed because these people are wicked. And I say wicked, I'm talking about Chris Roth and Eric Stidham and Chris Roth's the CEO, Eric Stidham. I got to get a battery here for my phone. Eric Stidham's the lead attorney for Holland Hart. And why I call them wicked is because they have done everything they could over the last several years to try to hurt me and my family. They haven't wanted peace. They haven't wanted, even restitution. And this isn't about, basically trying to recover something that they say I did to them and the damages. And I'll give you an example of that. So they took my home, over a year ago, year and a half ago or so. When was it? Anyway, it's over a year ago. And it's been in their possession for, all this time. And instead of, taking the home, now that they have title of it, and selling it to recover the damages that they say I caused them, which is a bunch of BS, but to say that they cover the damages, instead they just left the home vacant, unmaintained, and this last winter, it froze. I think it might have been not this winter, but the previous winter, I think is what it was. The water system froze in the house, and of course some of the water lines broke, and it flooded part of the house. And so they ended up, and no one went into it, and so then it ended up, when it got warm, so it would have been last winter this happened. When it got warm, there ended up being all this mildew everywhere. So they tore a portion of the house down. And there's weeds 3 foot tall everywhere around it. All the grass is dead. All of the, the plants and so forth are dead. The trees, thankfully, the orchard down the street has taken care of the trees, so they're still there. The orchard's still there. And but the house portion is just deteriorating and falling apart, and now it's, now part of it is tore down, and we're talking about a house that was valued just a couple years ago at $1.8 million on 5 acres, beautiful home. And they took that from me just to take it from me. They didn't take it from me. Chris Roth, he gets paid $1.6 million a year. That's like almost $140,000 a month. Is what he gets that's what he gets paid from St. Luke's, a nonprofit organization. He doesn't want my house. you know. He just took this to hurt my family and I, to force us in an attic apartment, to live all together in one bedroom, and to basically say that if you mess with us, we're going to punish you, no matter whether they were right or wrong. And so, anyway, I give you that detail to show you that, you know, they're not doing this to try to recover damages. And they're doing this to just hurt and to try to make us, you know, suffer as much as we can. And the same thing, why would St. Luke's, why would they oppose us going bankrupt? Like, they've already got everything from us. The only thing they haven't got from us is our vehicles, and I'll talk to you about that and a few other things. But they've already got everything pretty much of value other than just, you know, a few $1,000s. And so why would they object to a bankruptcy, us going bankrupt? And the only reason is because they want to continue to make us suffer for as long as they possibly can. And that's the only conclusion you can come with. And the fact that they would put so much, you know, millions of dollars into lawyers to try to oppose, you know, us and the bankruptcy is crazy. So anyway, let's get back to my list here. So just kind of wrapping up the bankruptcy part, I got notified by the trustee's office, and the trustee is basically the lawyer that takes control of all your assets in a bankruptcy. And he basically said that we were supposed to turn over all the remainder of our stuff. Now, to back up, I want to point out that St. Luke's, again, when I filed for bankruptcy, I filed what they call an exemption schedule. And basically it says that in order for my family to function, I need my tools, I need a vehicle, I need clothing, my children need clothing, and we need a little bit of cash because we're running on a cash basis. Because remember, they took all our bank accounts away, seized all of them, and we haven't been able to get a bank account for, right around 2 years now. And so this is what I asked for in the exemptions. And of course, St. Luke's objected to everything, to us keeping nothing, or keeping anything. They basically asked the court to allow us to keep nothing. And so the court did grant them that. And so now, here in a little bit, there's a hearing set on March 26th, so I think we'll be able to keep our vehicles and stuff until then. But it'll be pretty soon where all our vehicles and everything else. Now, I think just kind of out of to be honest with you, I just think they're just kind of ignoring the law here. But I was told that we were able to keep our clothing. And so that is a good thing. And but pretty much everything else, they even wanted pictures of my tools and everything. So we'll see what they decide. I know the trustees, you know, I don't know. They get, the crazy thing about the court and the trustees, and I'm moving on here, but is that everything that the trustee takes, he gets a percentage of. And so he's motivated to take as much as he can. And I just think that's a wrong way to motivate someone who has control over, you know, all the assets in the estate. So anyway, a couple years ago, I was, you know, I was worth $5 or $6, maybe $7 million. And most of that was free and clear, meaning I truly was worth that. I had buildings, commercial buildings, and now it's all gone. And it was all for standing up for baby Cyrus. And people have asked me if I would do it again. I would, absolutely I would. I wouldn't even have to change very much of what I did. I've learned a lot, but I would have to do it all again. Because I believe that, you know, God will be the final judge, and that these people will pay a price if they don't, you know, repent and restore the damages back to my family and I. So now moving on, I did say that that I had some videos, or not videos, but I had some information about Meridian Police. And it is tied to the Baby Cyrus case. So what happened was, after I was arrested and the dust kind of fell from the whole thing, we had some people that donated some money to do a public records request. And I want to thank those people. I want to thank them personally. You know who you are. And Scott and Chuck, I want to thank you for doing that, because it's been a long process. It's been a couple years now. We filed a public records request trying to get all the records from Meridian Police when they arrested me and through the Baby Cyrus incident. Now, interesting enough that if you remember, they tried me for trespassing when I demanded that they give Baby Cyrus back at the hospital. And I was supposed to get all the discovery from that, from the case. And I thought I did get all the discovery. But what happened is when we filed this public records request, we found out that the Meridian Police Department had over, just for the week and a half period of time, it's actually more like a week period of time, we found that the Meridian Police Department had communicated using my name in 997 emails. I may be wrong on that, but almost 1,000 emails. And then also there was a bunch of videos that they did not turn over. Now, the public records request is supposed to outline basically what the records have, and they did that. And they wanted us to pay a whole bunch of money to get those records, which we did pay a decent amount thanks to the donations that were given us. But let me back up just a little bit, because I'm going to just back up here. Because if you remember, Meridian police officers arrested Cyrus's mother, Marissa, and Cyrus's aunt. And then when they took Baby Cyrus. And those charges were dropped. But let me tell you how they were dropped. After they were arrested, Marissa and Miranda's attorneys asked for all the discovery from the Meridian Police Department. And the Meridian Police Department did not produce this discovery to them. So then their attorneys went to the court and said, look, Meridian Police Department is not producing the discovery like they're supposed to. And so we're asking you to compel Meridian Police Department to produce the discovery. And Meridian Police Department, was fighting to not release the discovery, the videos and so forth. And so the judge says, this is a legal proceeding. You have to produce the discovery. You have to produce the documents and the videos, and you have 10 days to do it. Well, one day before the due date, Meridian Police Department, or Meridian, dismissed the case against Marissa and Miranda. So those records were never obtained. They were never received. So then now we are doing a public records request, and Meridian Police Department is refusing to give up the documents. And so we sued them. And when I say we, it actually wasn't me. I guess I could say Lori Marr. It's on public record. And love you, Lori. You're awesome. Such a go-getter. Anyway, she was the one named on the request. And she filed a lawsuit against them for not producing the public records that they're required by law under the Idaho Public Records Request Act. She sued them. And this is the amazing part. The judge, they had a hearing, of course. Well, actually, Meridian Police responded back and said that it would be a violation, and I'm going to read you some things here, but this is just the beginning of it. It'd be a violation of their officers' right to a fair trial if they produced these documents. Okay? So anyway, that's what they wrote. So then the judge had a hearing and he ordered them to produce the videos and emails in the public records request, and that they had 10 days to do it. Now, during that 10 days, Meridian Police Department, their attorneys, filed a motion asking the judge to reconsider her decision in forcing them to give up the documents. And let me read you a little bit right in here of the, I'll show you the, let me read to you what they actually are saying. It's crazy. They said, this is in their request for the judge to reconsider. They said, there are 2 Meridian Police Department cases containing records responsive to the request. The first is Meridian Police Daily Report, in which Ammon Bundy is named as a suspect. The second is Meridian Police record, which describes the investigation of Levi Anderson and Marissa Anderson. If the evidence is released to the petitioner in the case before the court, particularly if released without a protective order, it can be presumed that the information, images, and footages will be disseminated to the general public. Of course, that's what the public records request is for. In fact, in the Idaho Public Records Act, it says that it is the right of the citizens of Idaho to basically see all the records. And so now they're saying that if the records were given, that they would be disseminated to the general public. They're concerned about it. Then they go on, in this event, the information will be available. Absent proper foundation and context released of the request records, the subsequent public presentation of this information will be unduly prejudiced to the defendants, so to the police officers. They're saying that if it's disseminated to the public, that it will prejudice the police officers. Okay, it goes on. It says, the matters have garnished significant, so it's talking about the videos and so forth and the evidence. The matters have garnished significant coverage from traditional media outlets and in online social media. And it is likely that release of the requested documents under IPRA, that's Idaho Public Records Request Act, will again draw attention to the matter, establish a particular narrative, generate public conversation, and this time deprive defendants of their right to a fair trial. So they do not want it to get out because the public will pay attention to it. They will, it must be significant because it'll generate a whole bunch of public outcry again. And that the police officers, again, will not receive a fair trial if this happens. It goes on. It says the content of the video and records in this case are likely to invoke strong emotions. So I wonder what's in these videos and what's in these emails. I mean, this is the Meridian Police Department's, the Meridian police officers, lawyers that are saying this, that the content of the videos and records in this case are likely to invoke strong emotion. Goes on, the city of Meridian Police Department, and officers named in the case have already sustained years of harassment, both online and in person, and received numerous threats of violence and other harm from across the country based on the matters being litigated. Release and subsequent distribution of the requested records will invigorate these efforts. So what's in these records? With the added effect of depriving the city, Meridian Police Department, and officers of their right to a fair trial. This is crazy. So then the respondent would ask that this court reconsider its decision regarding City of Application of Idaho, section to the petitioner's request for record and uphold the denial of the records. So we now have, this is the third case, or the third time that these records have been requested or demanded, and they have not been produced. Now, I will say this too. Marissa and Levi, baby Cyrus's mother and father, sued Meridian Police Department, CPS, and St. Luke's for their actions in taking baby Cyrus. And Meridian Police Department has not produced the evidence, the discovery in that case either. And I would imagine they're going to try to get it sealed or protected or made so that it doesn't get out to the public. Basically, it's saying that if the public was able to view the information and have the information, that they'd be outraged, and that it would deprive the Meridian Police Department and prejudice them so they couldn't get a fair trial, meaning that the public would be so outraged that they would find the Meridian Police guilty. And so, and this has all been kept under the wraps. Like, have you heard about it in the media? Has the Idaho media even talked about it? No. And that's because they weaved this terrible story about something that I did and Diego, Cyrus's grandfather did, basically saying that we did all of it to get money and popularity, that all of it was just to gain money and subscribers on whatever social media, I guess. That's what they said we did it, and that's what the media ran with. Now, a couple more things. Again, I just wanted to be factual in this video, just to give you an update. I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I wanted to do it where I could, show you the documents and so forth, but time just doesn't allow it. So one more thing, I got a message from a very trustworthy person that I completely trust, and she said this. It's just a text message that I had, and I'm going to read through it. If you remember, Sergeant McGilvery of Meridian Police Department was the officer in charge when they took baby Cyrus. And I've watched the videos many, many times, the body cams and so forth. And this Sergeant McGilvery has come up in my mind many times about being a psychopath. And I really believed it. I expressed it many times. And I said it. I believe that he is a psychopath. And I watched what he did and how he did it and how he drug Levi out of the car and slammed him up against the truck, how he twisted Miranda, the aunt's arm, and drug her out of the car with her arm over the door, twisted down. And then how he lied multiple times to Marissa to get her in the ambulance so they could just take the baby and then have her arrested. And how he covers his body cam so that, and turns it off, or the sound off, so that, it can't be heard what he's saying and doing right before they take baby Cyrus. And then how he just immediately almost arrested me at the hospital and all the things that he did. And he was clearly the one in charge. So now I get this text, and I'm going to wrap up here in a little bit, but I get this text and it says, "Hey, Ammon, how are you doing?" I said, "How are you doing?" She said, "So I just found out that Sergeant McGilvery pled guilty to battery for choking out a female officer to the same judge as the baby Cyrus case." And I said, "Wow, do you have any information on that?" She goes, "That's everything I have so far. The hearing is still active right now, and this just happened a few minutes ago," meaning he was just found guilty of battery for choking out a female officer. She said, "I just had to tell you immediately. I'm waiting for more information after the hearing." And I said, "Please send it to me when you get it. That guy is a psychopath, in my opinion." She said, "I will, and totally agree. He's a psychopath. And then today I said, do you have any more information about McGilvery? And she says, none yet. Filed a public records request, but the case is still open. We will most likely have to wait until after the sentencing to get that info. Now, yeah, maybe after the sentencing, but if the pattern of Meridian Police Department continues, that it'll take years to get it, just like it's taken us years, and we still don't have the videos and everything from when they took baby Cyrus. And then she says, but you'll be the first to have anything I get. I said, did you watch part of the hearing? Because I just wanted to, confirm information and so forth. And she says, I did not, but there was an attorney who was in the hearing, and he's the one who let me know. He said the case might be sealed since there was a victim. Yeah, they just seal these cases just so the public doesn't know about them. But that we should be able to get access to the police report at least. So I'm just letting you know that these, Meridian Police Department, and in my opinion, Idaho is on a terrible path. In fact, I was just communicating with a seasoned Idaho legislator. I am not going to say the legislator's name because I do not want retaliation. But this is what was said in that communication. I don't know if you followed the legislature. This was the legislators talking. She says, I don't know if you followed the legislature, but today several of the most nefarious and evil bills were presented that I've ever seen. This is a seasoned legislator. I'm talking about a decade plus. Mike goes on. Mike Moyles wants there to be a ministry of truth administered by the Secretary of State's office. Crazy. And I said, Idaho is truly in trouble. I was not just saying that as a campaign tactic. I truly believe it when I said it, and I still believe it today more than ever. I know you have been saying it as well. I'm glad you're still fighting. And then the legislator responded, and, I'm going to say, she says, Ammon, I know you meant what you said when you were campaigning. I know your heart is pure and true. I know you are one of the few people in the world who really stands up for what is right and true. And I'm just grateful that was expressed. That I do believe that there are good people in the Idaho legislature, but Idaho is just going down this terrible path. And, they're just accepting all of the things that Oregon and Washington and even California accepted that made them these liberal states. And I'm hoping that, anybody that has power to be able to make an influence in Idaho uses that power. I'm talking about even people like President Trump. Don't go in there and think that Brad Little is just some good old conservative boy, or that Scott Bedke, who's going to be running for governor next, or that IACI, which is run by St. Luke's, is some conservative industrial activist group or lobbyist group. It's just, that's not what's going on. And anyway, there's a lot of problems. Meridian Police Department is just full of it, full of corruption, full of abuse, and willing to cover themselves up even against the law. And so I guess we're going to see what happens. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your prayers. Again, we get up every day, we go through the day, and the day-to-day is not that bad. It's just our future that is really, really in question, and that we are constantly under attack by Chris Roth, the CEO of St. Luke's, and Eric Stidham, the partner in Holland Hart, and it's all being funded by taxpayer dollars or donations to St. Luke's. So anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good day.